I never thought I'd end up in handcuffs because of a goddamn rack of ribs, but there I was, wrists chafed against cold steel, staring down the barrel of a false alarm charge while that whale of a woman, let's call her Karen for the irony, screamed bloody murder about my health violation. It started with a sizzle and a whiff of hickory smoke drifting over my 10-acre estate, the kind that screams 4th of July freedom, but to her it was Armageddon. And just when the cops were about to cut me loose, she doubled down, filing a lawsuit that would drag my name through the mud, until I flipped the script and buried her in her own entitlement, one subpoena at a time. The sun hung low over the rolling hills of Silicon Valley's outskirts, painting my sprawling estate in that perfect California amber glow that makes you forget the world outside your gates. I'd clawed my way up from a cramped apartment in San Jose, coding through all-nighters until my startup spat out a 9-figure exit. Now, at 38, I own this slice of paradise, a modernist mansion with floor-to-ceiling windows, an infinity pool that kissed the horizon, and a backyard big enough to host the entire neighborhood, if I wanted to. Which I didn't. Not after moving into Willow Creek Estates 3 months ago. Willow Creek was the kind of gated community where tech bros like me parked our Teslas and pretended we were normal folks. Marble countertops in every McMansion, a clubhouse with a gym that smelled like new money, and an HOA covenant thicker than a tax code. I'd skimmed it during closing, something about noise ordinances and landscaping approvals. But who has time for fine print when you're busy revolutionizing AI? That's how I missed the part about open flames requiring prior board notification. Rookie mistake. My name's Alex Harlan, by the way. Not that it mattered much back then. I was just the new guy, the billionaire bachelor firing up the big green egg for a solo cookout after a brutal board meeting. Picture it. Me in board shorts and a faded Stanford tee, flipping baby backs slathered in my secret sauce. Apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, a kick of cayenne that'd make your eyes water. The smoke curled lazy into the air, carrying that primal, mouth-watering scent across the property line. Freedom, baby. Pure, unadulterated American freedom. That's when I heard it. The screech of tires on the cul-de-sac, followed by a door slam that echoed like a gunshot. I glanced over the fence. Privacy hedges be damned. And there she was. Karen Whitaker. 5'2" on a good day, but pushing 250 easy, crammed into a muumuu that looked like it lost a fight with a laundry basket. Her hair was a helmet of peroxide curls, face a roadmap of foundation cracks, and those beady eyes? They locked on my grill like it was Satan's own bonfire. "What in the hell do you think you're doing, young man?" she bellowed, waddling toward the fence with the grace of a capsized battleship. Her voice carried like a foghorn, laced with that faux southern drawl Midwestern transplants fake to sound folksy. "This is a no-burn zone. You'll set the whole subdivision ablaze." I wiped sauce from my hands on a towel, chuckling under my breath. New neighbors, right? Gotta play nice. "Evening, ma'am. Just firing up some ribs. Won't take long. Smoke will dissipate in 10. "Ma'am." She clutched her pearl necklace. Fake, probably from Kohl's, like I'd cursed her mother. "I'm Karen Whitaker, HOA vice president. And this," she jabbed a sausage finger toward my egg. "This is a violation of Article 7, Section 4B. Open flames are prohibited without a 72-hour variance application." I leaned on the fence, peering down at her. Up close, she was even rougher, sweat beading on her upper lip, a faint mustache shadow that no amount of Maybelline could hide. "Look, Karen, I get it. Rules keep the peace. But it's one grill. Neighbors back east do this every weekend. Hell, half the block's got fire pits." Her face purpled, jowls quivering. "Back east? This ain't back east, mister. This is Willow Creek, finest community west of the Mississippi. We don't tolerate your Yankee nonsense here. That smell, it's infiltrating my sunroom. My allergies. My property values. Property values." The eternal battle cry of the suburban tyrant. I bit back a retort, something about how her yapping was infiltrating my zen, and tried diplomacy. "Tell you what, I'll wrap it up in 5. Send over a plate. Got extra sauce." She recoiled like I'd offered her roadkill. "Bribe me? With your greasy slop? Oh, no, sir. This goes to the board." And the authorities. With that, she spun on her orthopedic sandals, huffing back to her bungalow. A squat eyesore painted Tuscan sunset orange, the only house in the hood that screamed, I peaked in the 90s. I shook my head, turning back to the grill. Let her stew. By morning, it'd be forgotten. Famous last thoughts. The next day dawned crisp, the kind of blue sky perfection that lures you outdoors. I was in my home office, video conferencing with investors about scaling my new venture, quantum-secure chat apps for the paranoid elite, when my smart doorbell chimed. Peeking at the feed, I saw her again. Karen, flanked by two septuagenarians in visors, clipboards in hand. The HO, a welcome wagon, or the Inquisition. I met them at the door, coffee in hand, forcing a grin. Morning, folks. To what do I owe the pleasure? Karen thrust a laminated notice under my nose, her nails chipped day glow pink. Cease and desist, Mr. Harlan. Your barbecue yesterday constituted a Class 2 infraction. Fine, $500. Pay within 30 days or liens on your title. The old guys, Ed and Mort, name tags said, mumbled agreements, eyes darting like they wished they were golfing. I scanned the paper, legalese about noxious odors and fire hazards. Laughable. This is over ribs? Come on, Karen. It's America. We grill. Not on my watch, she snapped, spraying spittle. I moved here from Ohio for clean air, not your smog factory. One whiff, and my sinuses exploded. Migraine all night. You think your money buys you exemptions? Think again. Exemptions. There it was, the undercurrent. Willow Creek wasn't just about rules. It was a fiefdom for busybodies like her, retired realtors enforcing bylaws like Holy Writ. I'd done my homework after. Karen had clawed her way onto the board after her husband ditched her for a Pilates instructor, turning her bitterness into a full-time gig. Fines funded her community events, bake sales where she peddled lumpy brownies and grudges. All right, I said, pocketing the notice. I'll fight the ticket at the next meeting. Fair. Her lips curled, a predator's smile on a bulldog's face. See you there, hotshot, and pray the board's in a merciful mood. They shuffled off, and I slammed the door, adrenaline buzzing. Fight it? Hell, I'd own it. A quick Google dive revealed the HOA's underbelly. Karen's reign of terror, neighbors whispering about her midnight weed whacker patrols, and anonymous complaint drops. One forum post called her the enforcement elephant. Time to push back. The board meeting was 2 weeks out, in the clubhouse's faux oak paneled room that reeked of stale coffee and desperation. I showed up early, slacks and button down, laptop ready with bylaws annotated like a legal brief. The place was packed, 30 residents nursing styrofoam cups, shooting me sympathetic glances. Karen held court at the head table, gavel in fat fist. Her muumuu swapped for a polyester pantsuit that strained at the seams. Order, she barked as I took a seat. The agenda dragged. Fence height disputes, mailbox aesthetics. Then my turn. I stood, projecting calm. Item 12. Appeal of infraction notice to Alex Harlan, 142, Oak Ridge Lane. Murmurs rippled. Karen leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Mr. Harlan alleges the fine is excessive and unenforceable. Rebuttal. I launched in. Slides on my screen showing the covenant's vague language. Open flames undefined. No mention of grills. Precedents from similar HOAs overturned on free speech grounds. Smoke is expression. Why not? Stats on how 80% of U.S. suburbs allow barbecues without permits. I wrapped with a zinger. Folks, Willow Creek's about community, not combustion. Let's not fine a man for feeding his soul. Applause trickled. Ed and Mort abstained, but 6 voted to quash the fine. Karen's gavel cracked like thunder. Motion denied 7-6. Finis thins. Next. Denied? We'd counted noses pre-meeting. Turns out, she'd stacked the board with proxies. Email votes from snowbirds, twisted to her favor. Whispers turned to outrage as I sat, fuming. A neighbor, a wiry ex-cop named Javier, leaned over. She's got dirt on half of him. Watch your back, kid. That night, sleep evaded me. The mansion felt less sanctuary, more siege. By dawn, resolve hardened, gloves off. If Karen wanted war, I'd bring the arsenal. Little did I know, Her next move would light the fuse, literally. I'd invited a few vetted neighbors for a low-key grill-off. Javier, his wife Maria, a couple coders from down the block. Covert op, whispers only. The egg hummed at dusk, ribs searing, beers cracking open. Laughter echoed, a middle finger to the fine. Smoke rose soft, mingling with jasmine from the trellis. Then the screech. Not tires this time, a wail piercing mechanical. The fire alarm, mounted on my own garage for code compliance, blared to life. Lights flashed, my Nest system auto-texted 911. Neighbors froze, then scattered as sirens wailed distant. Karen burst from the shadows, phone in hand, triumphant sneer splitting her face. Told you. Fire hazard. Everyone out. It's spreading. Spreading? It was a puff of smoke, damn it. But the truck roared up minutes later, hoses uncoiling, while Karen directed traffic like a deranged cop. Over there. The grill's the source. Arson, I bet. The captain, a grizzled vet named Ruiz, assessed quick. No flames, just overzealous alarm trigger. Wind must have caught the smoke, he grunted, waving off his crew. But Karen wasn't done. She cornered him, jowls flapping. False? This man's a menace. I smelled it from my yard. Choking hazard. Ruiz eyed me, apologetic. Sir, routine now. You the owner? I nodded, seething. Alex Harlan. It was a false pull. Karen's eyes widened, feigning shock. Pull? I didn't. Must have been accidental. But her smugness betrayed her. I'd seen her lumber toward the box earlier, a silhouette in the dusk. Cops arrived next. Protocol for alarms. Statements taken. Karen spinning yarns about imminent danger and repeated violations. They cuffed me, standard for investigation, while she preened, neighbors gawking from windows. Humiliation burned hotter than any coal. Released after an hour, no charges yet. But as I watched her waddle home, victory lap complete, something snapped. Betrayal? Sure, from a community I'd bankrolled with dues. Revenge? Oh, it whispered sweet nothings. Willow Creek's queen was about to get dethroned. Dawn broke gray the next morning, coffee bitter on my tongue as I scrolled news alerts on my phone. Local tech mogul detained in HOA fire scare. Some busybody had leaked to the patch. Comments flooded. Entitled rich kid thinks rules don't apply. About time someone checked these billionaires. Karen's fingerprints all over it, no doubt. I slammed the mug down, shards of rage embedding deep. This wasn't just a fine or a false alarm. It was character assassination, the kind that sticks in boardrooms and bedrooms. I called my lawyer, Elena Vasquez, sharp as a switchblade, who'd shredded NDAs for me during the IPO. False report, she confirmed after I recounted the night. California Penal Code 148.5. Misdemeanor, up to 6 months if we prove intent. But HOAs? They're Teflon. Need ironclad proof. Proof. I'd get it. First stop, the Nest footage. My system had caught everything. Grainy but damning. Karen's bulk approaching the alarm at 7:42 p.m., hand-reaching, then yanking. Timestamp synced to the 911 log. Jackpot. But revenge isn't a solo sprint. It's a marathon with pit stops at the DMV of pettiness. I started small, weaponizing the system she'd built. Anonymous tip to the board. Her community fund discrepancies. $2K unaccounted for event supplies. Javier followed up with photos of her Tuscan sunset bungalow, unapproved solar panels, a kiddie pool in the front yard violating setback rules. Tit for tat. Karen retaliated swift. By noon, another notice, escalated violation, repeat offender status. Fine doubled to $1,000, plus community service scrubbing clubhouse windows. The gall. I fired back via email blast to all residents, CC&G the board, detailing her alarm stunt, attaching redacted footage. Is this the leadership we deserve? False alarms endanger lives, waste resources. The cul-de-sac buzzed. Maria dropped off tamales with a wink. Karen's fuming, says you're slandering her good name. Good name? The woman who'd once sued a family for excessive laughter after their kid's birthday party. Forum posts exploded. Free the Ribs trended locally, memes of elephants pulling levers. But she wasn't done playing dirty. 2 days later, a process server knocked. Lawsuit filed in small claims. Defamation and emotional distress. $10,000 demanded, plus injunction against all outdoor cooking. Emotional distress from ribs? I laughed, then forwarded to Elena. Frivolous, she texted. Will countersue for malicious prosecution. Discovery will gut her. Discovery, the scalpel of civil war. Elena subpoenaed everything, bank records, emails, even her Amazon history for alarm sabotage kits. Guilty pleasure read. Turns out Karen's online trail was a Karen starter pack. Reviews raging at Target for lazy cashiers. Yelp takedowns of local spas for not accommodating my size. And buried in her inbox? Chain emails plotting against undesirables. Code for anyone who crossed her. The deposition was poetry. Set in a sterile conference room downtown, Karen arrived in a tent dress, lawyer in tow. A sleazy ambulance chaser named Phil who smelled like cheap cologne. Elena started gentle. Ms. Whitaker described the evening of July 14th. Karen puffed up. Barbecue stench invaded my home. Allergies flared. Sinus infection now. Pulled the alarm to protect the community. Pulled. Elena pounced, cueing the video. Karen's face drained of color as her arm jerked on screen. That's not me. Deep fake. Your client's tech voodoo. Elena smiled, shark-like. Ma'am, the metadata is certified. And your 911 call transcript. Yes, dispatcher, flames visible from Harlan's yard. But fire department reported no flames. Why lie? Lie. Karen sputtered, jowls a quiver. Precaution. Better safe than sorry. Phil interjected, but Elena steamrolled. Your fine history. Over 50 issued last year, 80% to single residents. Pattern of targeting. Order. Karen barked, aping her gavel. I'm the victim here. Victim. The word hung. Absurd. This woman, who'd weaponized bureaucracy to bully a widow into selling her home over unkempt shrubs. Playing the card? Outrage boiled in me. Silent in the corner, but Elena smelled blood. Ms. Whitaker, your ex-husband's affidavit. Care to comment on the pattern of vindictive behavior cited in your divorce? Karen lunged, chair scraping. Objection. Irrelevant. But Phil waved her down, sweating. The rest blurred, her stammering about privacy. Elena dropping bombs on unreported fine kickbacks. $500 skimmed into her personal wellness fund. We adjourned. Karen stormed out, vowing heads will roll. Mine almost did when the next escalation hit. A viral TikTok, her niece's account, splicing my deposition clip with crying emojis. Billionaire bullies, HOA mom. Justice for Karen. Views, 500K overnight. Sponsors called, investors jittery. Backlash stung. Suddenly, I was the villain, the coastal elite stomping on little guy, her apparently. I doubled down, going public. Podcast circuit, the Joe Rogan Experience Light, a local tech show where I spilled the tea. HOAs aren't homes. They're hostels for control freaks. Clips went nuclear, Karen Gate birthing think pieces in Wired, when suburban norms become nightmares. Donations poured for a HOA reform pack. My baby, seating lawyers for victims nationwide. Karen countered with a presser in her driveway, flanked by sign-waving cronies. Camera crews from Cron 4 captured her sob story. This man's ruining lives. My health, my home. She wheezed dramatically, clutching tissues, the moo-moo billowing like a distress flag. Sympathy swelled online. Blue-check Karens uniting petitions to protect our communities. But cracks showed. Javier unearthed her real dirt. Unpaid dues from her rental days. A bounce check to the landscaper. We leaked it. Ethical gray, but war's war. Board meeting redux. Emergency session. Her allies defecting. Enough, Ed muttered. You're poison, Karen. She exploded, chair flying. Traitors. I'll sue you all. The room evacuated as she rampaged, knocking over the podium. Video, of course. My ring cam caught the meltdown. Posted anonymously. HOA horror. When rules become ruin. The arrest came swift, a Tuesday blur. Cops at her door for the false report. Evidence airtight now. Ruiz testifying to the malicious pull. She wailed as they cuffed her doughy wrists, neighbors filming from afar. Political persecution, she shrieked, but the charge stuck. Misdemeanor, plus the lawsuit crumbled like her credibility. Bitter? For her, yeah. Released on bail, she slunk back, bungalow dark. But I tasted ash too. Community fractured, trust torched. Revenge won the battle, but the war? Still grills cold, fences high. Or so I thought. The real payback brewed in shadows, where billionaires play long games. Weeks bled into a fragile truce. Willow Creek's streets whisper quiet, like the neighborhood held its breath. Karen's mugshot made the rounds. Puffy face twisted in defiance, splashed across Reddit's r/public freakout as entitled elephant gets leashed. Schadenfreude surged. I fielded high fives at the coffee shop, but inside it gnawed. Victory felt hollow, like winning a pie-eating contest, then puking it up. I'd wanted justice, not this radioactive glow-up into local legend. The Rib Avenger, they call me now. Cute, until the IRS audits rolled in. HOA reform pack scrutiny natch. Karen vanished from view, sightings rare. A bloated shadow at the mailbox. Packages from QVC piling like accusations. Rumors swirled. Divorce reopening, board expulsion vote pending. I kept my head down, coding marathons in a mansion's glow, but paranoia crept. Drones buzz my airspace. Hers? Or paparazzi? Junk mail piled with glitter-bombed envelopes, screaming grill killer. Her handiwork, Elena confirmed. No prints, but the rage reeked Karen. The countersuit dropped like a guillotine. Malicious prosecution, defamation, intentional infliction of distress. $50,000 sought, plus punitive to deter future tyranny. Elena's brief was a masterpiece. Affidavits from 20 neighbors, detailing her reign. The yoga mom fined for offensive incense. The veteran harassed over flagpole height. Pattern of abuse, it read. Whitaker's actions not isolated, but systemic terror. Court date loomed. San Jose Superior, a beigebox purgatory where dreams divorce. I arrived early, suit crisp, flanked by Elena and Javier as character witness. The gallery hummed. Press, neighbors, even more with popcorn. Karen waddled in last, pantsuit upgraded to something from Macy's clearance. Navy, straining buttons like overripe tomatoes. Her lawyer, Phil, looked hung over. She'd lawyered up with a public defender after burning bridges. Judge Harlan, no relation, thank God. A no-nonsense Latina with a stare like laser sights, called order. Elena opened. Your Honor, Ms. Whitaker's false alarm wasn't error. It was escalation in a vendetta. Evidence shows premeditation, harm to Mr. Harlan's reputation and resources. Phil countered feeble. My client acted in good faith, fearing for safety. Stress from prior interactions. Mr. Harlan's aggressive appeal provoked her. Aggressive? I've been polite as a Boy Scout. But Karen's testimony ignited the powder keg. Sworn in, she launched. That man, Harlan, thinks his money makes him king. Invades our haven with his filthy habits. Then 6 hackers on me. Deepfakes leaks, it's cyberbullying. Elena cross-examined, velvet glove off. Ms. Whitaker, your email to the board, July 10th. New resident must be broken early, or he'll ruin us. Care to explain? Karen flushed crimson. Out of context. Community protection. Protection like fining Mrs. Patel $300 for Diwali lights? Or reporting Mr. Lee for Asian cooking odors. Objections flew, sustained, mostly, but the damage seeped. Judge's brow furrowed as Elena tendered the kill shot. Audio from the board meeting, Karen's voice snarling. I'll make his life hell. Gasps rippled. Even Phil winced. My turn on the stand. Measured, factual. I moved here for peace, Your Honor. Bought in good faith. Her actions, the alarm, the suit, cost me $20,000 in legal, sleepless nights, business deals soured. But it's the principle. No one should fear their neighbor. Karen's rebuttal? Meltdown 2.0. Liar. He's the bully, billionaire brat mocking my size, my life. I gave everything to this place. She dissolved into sobs, heaving, the bench creaking under her. The gallery shifted, sympathy curdling to cringe. Whispers, Oscar bait, get the hook. Recess called. In the hall, Javier clapped my shoulder. She's done, hermano. That was unhinged. Unhinged was right. Post-recess, Phil moved to dismiss. Karen medically unfit for stress. Judge denied, then ruled from the bench. Countersuit granted, $75,000 awarded, her original claim tossed. Frivolous and malicious, she intoned. Restraining order. No contact, 100 yards. Karen erupted, literally. As bailiffs approached, she hurled her water glass, shattering on the rail. Rigged. Jewish judge, tech money. Gasps turned to shouts. Security swarmed, tasers humming. Dragged out kicking. Mumu hiking to reveal garish underwear. She shrieked epithets that'd make sailors blush. Live-streamed, of course. Courtroom Karen, 2M views by dinner. The fallout cascaded. Board ousted her unanimous. Fines reversed community-wide. Her bungalow hit the market, as is haunted by drama, stagnant at 20% under ask. Niece's TikTok scrubbed, replaced by apologies, auntie's not well. Mental health angle, sure, but too late for redemption. For me? Vindication, bittersweet. PAC launched, reforms rippling, bylaw overhauls in 10 states. But nights, I'd wake to phantom sirens, grill rusting in the shed. Trust? Shattered like that glass. Neighbors nodded wary now, fences metaphorically taller. Yet the bitterest pill waited. Turns out, Karen's distress wasn't feigned entirely. Private eye report. Elena's gift revealed her spiral. Evicted from her sisters after unpaid loans. Jobless since HOA purge. Popping Xanax like Tic Tacs. Last sighting, check cashing line in Oakland, haggard alone. Pity flickered unbidden. I'd crushed her empire, but at what cost? Hers, mostly, entitlements thrown now, a cardboard box. Mine? A scarred freedom, ribs forever tainted. Or were they? One crisp fall eve, Javier texted. Grill time? No Karens invited. I fired up the egg, smoke rising defiant. Laughter returned, tentative. Revenge's aftertaste fades. Life's too short for grudges. But grudges have long memories. And Karen? She wasn't finished, not quite. Winter gripped Willow Creek gentle. Holiday lights twinkling like fragile truces on manicured lawns. My mansion stood sentinel, solar panels gleaming. Irony, since I'd gotten mine approved post-purge, a nod from the new board. Life normalized, code sprints, PAC fundraisers, the occasional date with a venture capitalist who ghosted after hearing my crazy neighbor story. Trauma bonds or red flags. Either way, solitude suited me now, a billionaire's bubble against the chill. Karen's ghost lingered, though. Foreclosure notices taped to her door, weeds choking the Tuscan sunset paint. Neighbors avoided it like playground, but I drove by weekly, masochism or monitoring. Her restraining order lapsed after 90 days. No sightings, but Elena's alerts pinged oddities. Credit maxed, utilities shut off. The mighty fallen, yet I felt no triumph, just a dull ache. Had I gone too far? Nah, self-defense. But the mirror lied mornings, eyes hollow from what-ifs. New Year's brought the twist, a subpoena of my own. Not from her, but the DA. Obstruction inquiry, it read. Anonymous tip. I'd manipulated evidence in the false alarm case. Manipulated? The video was raw. Elena dug. Source, a burner email trace to. Her old ally, Mort? No. Mort flipped, testified against her in the HOA probe. Deeper, a P.O. box in Reno, rented under her niece's name. Karen, puppeteering from exile. She'd holed up in a Fleabag motel off I-80, Elena's P.I. confirming. Bleached roots showing gray. Mumu swapped for sweats 2 sizes too small. Broke bitter brewing. Her play. Sue the city for botched arrest. Drag me in as co-conspirator. Tabloids nibbled. HOA hell. Sequel brewing? Stirring old sludge. Investors balked again. One deal vaporized over distraction risks. Outrage reignited hotter. Online, Karen redemption trended. Her sob stories on Facebook Live, filter heavy, railing against the elite cabal. Views monetized via GoFundMe. Help Karen fight back. $15,000 raised, mostly $5 drips from echo chamber annies. Comments. Poor lady, victim of cancel culture. Grill that billionaire. I countered quiet, op-ed in the murk, when victims become villains. Facts over fury. Her rap sheet, from petty theft, bounced checks, to the alarm. Public swung back, funder dried up. But the DA probe? It festered, depositions pulling me downtown weekly. Mr. Harlan, any edits to the Nest file? Enhancements for clarity. I admitted standard sharpening, not fabrication. Still, it smelled like witch hunt. The climax crashed mid-February, a storm-lashed night when thunder rattled windows. My ring chimed at 2 a.m. Figure at the gate, hooded, pounding. Karen, unmistakable bulk, face gaunt but feral. Harlan, face me coward. Voice cracked over intercom, slurred. Pills? Booze. I patched to 911 silent, camera rolling. She ranted. You ruined me. Job gone, home lost, because of your stupid meat. I'll burn it all. She produced a Zippo, pilfered probably, flicking futile against rain. Then, the lunge, at the keypad, trying codes. Breach attempt. Cops arrived, sirens blazing. She bolted, slipping in mud, sprawling like a beached whale. Tasered mid-scream. Fascist. Cuffed again, this time felony. Attempted arson, violation of order. Her defense. Delirium tremens from cold turkey detox, per psych eval. But the footage? Viral Armageddon. CNN picked it up. HOA nightmare ends in desperate dash. Trial was swift, public defender pleading diminished capacity. Judge, same as before, saw through. No sympathy for repeat sabotage. Sentence, 18 months county, probation after, mandatory counseling. Get help, Ms. Whitaker, she urged. Before you destroy more than your life. Karen Sinoff? A perp walking the downpour, no moo-moo glamour, just orange jumpsuit swallowing her frame, eyes dead fish. No crowd, no chance, just rain washing away the last of her myth. Bitter end. Isolation in a cell block of her own making, mirrors cracked, thrown dust. For the hood? Catharsis. Block party sans HOA. Grills everywhere, ribs my specialty. Javier toasted. To ribs and restitution. Laughter healed fractures. Fences came down, literal and not. Me? The ache eased, replaced by purpose. Pack boomed, laws reformed, grill freedoms enshrined in Cali Code. Dates resumed, one sticking. A journalist who saw past the headlines to the hurt. You know Avenger, she said over wine. Just a guy who fought back. Truth. Revenge's fire dims. Life's embers warm better. But late nights, grilling solo, I'd raise a beer to the ghost across the fence. Rest easy, Karen. We both lost something. Wind carried smoke away, free at last. Epilogue whispers. 6 months in, she wrote, jail letter, via Elena. Hate you still. But thanks for showing me the monster. Burned it unopened. Some closure scar, other smoke out. And so, Willow Creek barbecued on, under brighter skies.